So,
Let's see.
topic at
We can
hand.
talk about why Hitler was a hero.
I just shut up.
We could talk about that another time, Elijah. Um, Here, the topic at hand is these current protests and riots going on. Let's all, first off, veil of forgiveness, whatever we say or do here.
Well, just thought it was a small peen.
I am lagging.
Good job, good job using your freedom to say that, Edgar.
Alright. Before we start then, Edgar, you're a bitch, and Matthew, you have the worst taste in anime girls. That's all I have to say. Because everyone here, including me.
You care about wait, to quote you care about efficiency.
Oh wow! Someone's gonna comment out Edgar as soon as
Good response, Elijah. Good response, Elijah.
I'm lagging.
Alright. I'm sorry, I derailed this conversation. Matthew, please continue.
Okay, so
Yeah,
veil of listening. We'll listen to what other people have to say. No interruptions or anything like that. But
Well, forget about that rule.
pretty much, yeah. But okay, so I think we'll go in order first. Edgar,
Oh
Right.
man, what do I?
what's your stance on this? What's your stance on this type of stuff?
So I'm gonna sound like a broken record. I support the protests because the justice system and in particular how cops operate is fucked in this country. But at the same time, like anybody else, I don't. Shut up. Shut up. Anyway, no, I don't support the riot.
Okay, I'll stop.
Okay, Edgar, continue.
Yes, please continue.
Please continue, Edgar.
What the fuck?
Wait, what even happened?
Did he just cut the call?
Nani?
Oh.
Okay. I was in the midst of explaining something important, but okay.
Continue on.
I'm lagging.
Okay, so you want me to continue?
Yeah.
Alright, well, I was saying, and I sound like a broken record, I support the protesting, I don't support the rioting, and then people saying that the rioting is going to be the reason that we get change in this country. It's not going to happen. The only change that's going to happen is their neighborhoods are going to sink, and then the economies are going to become shot.
Noise suppression's wild.
Okay. Then I'll go next. I do, like Edgar, support the protest against rights. More so because I see a lot of people who are, I guess, opportunists, who are utilizing this opportunity to do bad things to people without any rhyme or reason, just for their own personal gain. Elijah, you next?
Yes. Yes.
You gonna say your stance on this, Elijah?
Oh, I thought Karan was going.
Oh.
I just make like I agree, not agree. That's a bad habit of mine.
Okay.
I thought Karan was.
Karan?
Yeah, all is that a lot of that are like
Say it again?
it's like right, not just
He's lagging.
Yeah, you're lagging, dude. And like,
Yeah.
are you far away from your phone?
He's lagging. Oh my
Put him up
god.
to 200%.
a lot of
Bobby, because
Karan, put yourself to push to talk.
Wait, stop.
all right.
We all
So,
died.
a lot of people who are property
What was that?
are
Oh my god.
Even at 200%, it's like muffled.
Yeah, like the audio keeps on cutting out when like every few seconds.
Yeah.
God, I'm
Do you have any headphones connected, or do you have any headphones? Try to connect. That usually works for me.
all right. I took headphones.
Oh, thank God, this sounds better.
Huh?
I said it
Alright, it sounds
I said
good
it
so
sounds
far.
better, so please continue on.
Oh, I feel like a lot of people that are rioting are like like a lot of people who are breaking property are rogue actors because a lot of these are happening in African American community, and a lot of the businesses around there are like black. So the people who are breaking these windows, a lot of them are actually white, and a lot of them are actually people like who are like they're like the opportunists. But I feel like the Black Lives Matter, the like actual Black Lives Matter people, the people at the center of are like actually respectful and are just trying to protest. Because a lot of
Yeah.
the people who are breaking up everything are just the SJW types, white liberal
Yeah.
Color hair.
I heard the Malcolm X quote.
everything.
I heard the Malcolm X quote.
Yeah. So 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 yeah. Again, it's a lot of the businesses around in those communities are black owned, so they don't want to bust up anything. So most of them don't, throw stuff around. Someone was breaking up the concrete in one video. Like this woman stuck up and
Washington.
was like, "You're not gonna do that in front of me."
Oh, no. Oh, you're talking about something different. I thought you were talking about the Washington protest where on Sunday where someone tackled a person breaking the cement trying to get projectiles.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they tackled the guy and then a bunch of protesters dragged him to the cops and they took him and the initial guy who tackled him and I don't know what they said to the initial guy attacking him, but it looked like a thank you type thing because they were brushing him off and all that.
Yeah, yeah. And plus, if you do some research, there's also a lot of cops dressing up like protesters and
Yeah.
rioting.
Yeah. Um.
It's weird.
Yeah. Before we go on with that, Ethan, your take, your stance.
I think the protests are cool,
Okay.
but I think the riots are not cool
Okay.
because lies are.
No, shut up, bitch. I think alright.
So the reason I say that is because the protests were doing fine, and then randomly riots started breaking out, and everybody's trying to justify it by saying, "Oh, our voices aren't being heard with the just peaceful protests when they were all over." It blew up even more with the riots, but it's not the kind of attention and light you want to be getting with
The
the
worst part
message they're
about
trying.
this, sorry to interrupt you, Ethan. The worst part about this is that it's going to be like Tiananmen Square, where people remember the violence more than the actual message that they're trying to get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like to say this to a lot of people. We had a sort of unity in the beginning of this. We all wanted, because let's admit, the beginning of this it was about justice for George Floyd, correct?
Yeah.
So the record's clear.
Trying to
We
put-
all agreed. I think every single rational person agreed we wanted justice for George Floyd. But then after the riots and certain events, specifically David Dorn's killing happened, it started to become a game, another game, pretty much, of left versus right, Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative type crap.
Not to mention everybody pointing fingers at each other
Yeah.
instead of actually taking responsibility.
and trying to come together, but instead, doing all this dumb shit. And I
So,
hope
since it's like sort of unanimous thing, this whole podcast is about finding a middle ground. So I'll play the devil's advocate because I know a lot of what the other side's trying to say. So I put up the point about voices being heard. a lot of the protests and stuff after the assassination of Martin Luther King were violent. Like it did. Not saying he had nothing to do with it, but there was very little going on with Martin Luther King. Like after his assassination, there were not too many peaceful protests. A lot of them were violent, but they still did action. So you can't really discredit the idea of a violent protest. Well, violent. It's a riot because protests are inherently peaceful, as stated by the Bill of Rights, or should be peaceful to be legal.
Yeah. Can I
Um.
say something about all this?
Yeah.
You know what's going on. Yeah, so I feel like a lot of these problems, like the death of George Floyd, the blatant corruption within like the NYPD and like the government. I think it's all due to complacency.
Just
We all
PD.
gotten so complacent,
Yeah.
huh?
It's just the
We
PD.
got
This was not in New York. I don't think so.
Well,
right.
the
Well,
George Floyd.
yeah,
yeah,
no,
but I
was
think like
that was in
as a
Minneapolis.
country, like yeah, we've gotten like too complacent. It's like I don't
You guys
because
can hear me?
we gotten like too complacent. Like we gotten too complacent to the point like things are just gonna get better when they won't because like we need actual
Yeah.
change
Not to
because
mention the way how this country works. No, sorry to interrupt, Elisha. Again. Not to mention how this country works. It's like once this thing ends, it's gonna die out. It's gonna fade.
Yeah.
yeah
Person is
people are
shot
gonna
and killed,
forget
and then an entirely new protest
Yeah.
and riot start yet again.
Because honestly, God, we got justice for George Floyd at this point. All the officers were arrested. The main guy got second-degree murder, which is honestly the
No.
best you
We,
can
we
get.
still need like more change because like
oh yeah
Yeah.
the
definitely
reason
that's what I was
like
talking about
like
complacency
now he got justice, but do you know how many times the police have done like messed up stuff and have
Yeah.
gotten
yeah
away with it?
I want to talk about that
Dude,
most
because
definitely
like there was this dude that was he was drunk and everything and this and apparently someone called because they said they saw a gun going out a window. They responded to it and there was like a whole team of officers, like a SWAT team, and they had guns and everything, like assault rifle. If you look at the video, it's like really messed up because the dude is obviously drunk and he's
yeah,
messed up, and the dude is yelling at him to crawl on his knees and stuff like that.
yeah, and I think we should talk
And
about that
and he
in the
like
next
made like
episode.
only one wrong movement. He made like one wrong movement, and the dude like the dude whose body cam footage you're watching shoots him. It's like really messed up. They have like footage from the dude's body cam of him riddling this dude with bullets.
Yeah, and that's an example of the issues
There have been
with our
like
police force and law
instances where the
enforcement.
SWAT team also just pepper spray and beat dogs. Like
Yeah.
they're just so with like
Dogs.
that.
Again, we're doing two episodes in this call, so I think we should talk about that in the next one and after this.
Hold on.
right
Okay. So I can understand that I can understand why they're protesting. You got this big problem and stuff, and I do honestly think people have to speak up for things to actually change. Like when I put the poll up and said, "Oh, do you guys want to do two episodes where one of them is talking about the topic of the corruption in the police force, law enforcement, and the entire judicial system?" Caron said, unlike American politics, your vote matters. Hey, I'm just talking about how, people need their voices heard, And the problem is, like you said, like unlike the American vote, your vote matters. When I put up the poll yesterday, I don't genuinely believe that. I believe the idea of you voting matters. Because if you say it doesn't matter,
Definitely.
if it doesn't matter, I won't vote. Well, what if you're the one vote? That's the thing. People need people need to speak up.
If there's a candidate, like if there's someone worth voting for, I guess. But even then, like let's be honest. Even then, if there's someone who's worth voting for, and the powers that be don't want him like in there,
yeah
Yang.
there's gonna be enough. There's gonna be enough
Fuck over.
naysayers.
Look
Yeah, that actually happened
And
with Andrew Yang.
and Bernie Sanders.
Yep.
And
Great candidates.
The
Great
fuck?
candidates who got fucked over because they apparently weren't good enough for some reason.
Yeah.
Voting is very important. I think
Yeah.
people should
But
vote, but
that sort of
sometimes
premise that your voice matters. Like I believe Elijah said, complacency. People need to speak up against what they see as wrong. You know?
like Joe Biden versus Trump. Like
oh my
I
god, that's
wouldn't
not even
I
a.
wouldn't vote.
They're echo
It's a
fighters.
it's a Discord glitch,
Echo
I
fighters.
wouldn't
Ethan. That happens a lot.
dude, dude dude, who would you vote for between Joe Biden and Trump?
Oh, I'm not voting. I cannot
Yeah,
vote for either
yeah.
of them.
That's my
I
point.
tell
That's
people
my
all the
point,
time
bro.
the
How
2020
many
election
elections?
is just the worst election ever. 2024 I
Yeah.
actually have people I'm rooting for. I hope win. Who I support.
But that's my point, bro. That is exactly my point. Like, how many elections have passed through the years where there's just no one that's worth voting for? Everyone's spoon feeding you garbage, and
Mm,
the only good people that were in this election, like
were
Tulsi
fucked over.
Gabbard, Andrew
Mm,
Yang, and
yep.
best of all
Bernie
Bernie Sanders.
They all dropped out.
fucked over. They were all
Yeah, they got
fucking
screwed by
No,
the
no, it wasn't
system.
that they dropped out, Edgar. They were basically pushed out. They cut
Yeah,
out Andrew Yang's
exactly.
mic in the middle of his sentence in one of the debates. They cut out his mic.
Yeah, they screwed him.
Yeah.
They screwed
One
him.
asshole.
Like they screw everyone else. Yeah. Yeah,
and
exactly.
I pray to God Andrew
Yo,
Yang
you-
runs in
like,
2024.
Yeah, but that's my point. It's rigged. The
I know.
system.
Alright.
Oh my God! Come on, stop talking! Come on, stop it! Come on, your mic is earthquake.
Alright, you gotta cut this part out.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. You good? You good,
I'm
Karan?
sorry, my phone is messing up. I can't
I
hear
think a Zoom
anything.
call would have been better.
Karan, you good?
I made a server and I'm ready. Go to it.
Okay.
Why is it messing up for me?
Oh my God. Let's go into the server Ethan put in. Let's go into Ethan's server. Right? Jesus
That was
Christ.
funny.
Okay, I'm going into Ethan's server. Yeah.
Before I think what what we say voting matters. Well, voting matters is your voice is heard when it's not, because technically Donald Trump wasn't even popular with the people's vote. He didn't get the people's vote. He only won through electoral college. So what does that really say? Like, that's all the way back in
Hillary
2016.
Clinton sucked, bro. But Hillary Clinton sucked.
Funny
The fact
story.
that it was like only
There's a
that there-
conspiracy going on right now because they found that about 8 million votes were not counted in the 2016 election. So Hillary Clinton might have actually won.
And didn't he also win the people's vote? Last time I checked.
Yeah.
Don't
So they don't know
think-
they don't know about the 8 million votes who they voted for. So one of two possibilities could have happened. Hillary Clinton might have actually won 2016 or Trump actually won the popular vote. We don't know. And that's scary. So let's join the server.
In the server.
Wait, which one?
He just put it in the chat.
Oh,
Wait,
Okay.
what server?
Ethan put his server in the chat.
in the chat. Yeah,
Yeah.
debate server.
Where?
In the chat.
Where?
Hold up.
All right, I got into this.
Oh, you see it now? Alright, so I'll see you guys later.
Okay.
I don't know what I would think, leaving my child behind. Now I suffer the curse and now I am blind.
Well, that happened.
He's playing
See what I have to
music,
deal
bro.
with?
Yo.
I'm just gonna mute him.
Hey, yo.
I swear you guys are trash, bro. Can you like chill? Yo.
Okay, there you go. Oh my god. Ethan, stop. Okay, let's continue our.
Who the fuck is
Come on!
Jimmy?
Come on!
He actually put that in the
Come on! You're glitching. You're wigging out, man. You're wigging out, man. Oh my god, this is devolved into just chaos, like the Rights. But
This isn't even the real St. Jimmy. This is just the Broadway version.
yeah, but okay, let's
Right.
get back to our discussion.
5, 6, 7,
Right.
8,
Okay, that's getting cut out. Ethan, that's getting cut out.
Alright, quit it, bro.
I'm muting him.
Turn down his volume.
Yeah, I'm just muting him.
Yeah, please.
Okay,
Yeah.
but
Turn the fucking music off.
just mute him.
No,
Mute him,
no.
bro. Yeah. Oh my god, bro. Oh gosh.
How the fuck do you mute?
No, he's having enough.
It's
I
dude,
don't think.
quit the music. But okay, let's get back to our discussion. You're still muted.
Alright. I think you learned his lesson.
Okay, let's unmute him, and if he tries anything again, I will mute him again. And you there, man?
Alright.
Hello.
Hey, they're gonna stop with the announcement.
Alright, chill now, Anger.
But that's
Oh
a
my God.
discussion for another time. Let's talk about the protests and all that stuff. I believe that like
You guys
Elijah
can't
said,
hear
people
me.
are too complacent. We
The
need,
music's still playing.
people still need to like show their
How is
voice.
the music still playing? I don't have it open.
Wait,
Oh, wait. You know what I just realized? I'm a fucking dumbass. You know what I just realized?
What?
I had a YouTube video open. It was placing.
So the real music was you.
No, it was. I was with you. Why the fuck am I hearing music? And then
Round of applause.
What's going on, bro?
I had St. Jimmy open. I was trying to listen to an amp video. And then fucking I had St. Jimmy from Green Day open.
What?
You've been streaming Roblox. Okay. Okay.
Matthew, you sound like fucking. You sound like James Bay from Top Gear when you laugh. Yeah, that's exactly what he sounds like.
Yeah. But okay, so it's that I can understand when what people are saying. Writing is the voice of those who are unheard. You see this, and we'll get into this next episode. You see so many situations where cops do the worst shit. They just do these awful things and never get repercussions. And I'll say this right now, it's because of police unions, and it's because of all of their overarching hand in our society that they get away with basically everything. They get away with everything. You know? And that's a problem. We need to speak. People need to speak up about it and take action against it, which we will talk about in the next
They have
next
a
episode.
lot of privileges just for having
Yeah.
the job as
Same thing
officer.
honestly as teachers, teacher unions, trade unions, stuff like that. All of them just you can be the worst piece of shit and you get away with it. In schools, you get rubber roomed.
I get shut. Not nowhere near as cops.
True, but I mean there is still the thing of rubber rooms where teachers can just jack off in a room for 8 hours and they get paid in full. And they don't have to work.
No,
Mr.
that's
Lano?
just the education system as a whole.
Yeah.
That's a problem with the way the Board of Education runs things. That's a problem.
Yeah, and it is that kind of like that kind of thing. People need to speak up against type of stuff like that unless change never happens. Because change won't happen unless we speak up about what's wrong. But then that leaves the question of how. I believe that rioting like this is not the answer. I believe Ethan said, it's only hurting their message, their overarching message, by making it seem like that message is synonymous with violence. A very radical person I know, who kind of like, he's a bit of a moderate type guy, but he does not like these riots. Like, he cannot like empathize with them. Said that this may make more racist than there were before, by making people think, oh, people who care about black lives are violent. They're violent to get their ways. That's not good. People might think.
Here's my thing. People who think like that need to do research and look at the fact that a lot of these people are rogue actors.
What?
If you look at a lot of the videos where people are damaging property, there are a lot of people in the crowd that are saying, "Hey, don't do that," because it harms the overall cause and causes the exact thing that you're talking.
As well,
it's not even a lot of the protests. It's like police officers and some like white nationalists who have been found out to be, a part of the riots too. So it's not really Black Lives Matter as a whole.
Yeah, a lot of radical groups, Antifa, white supremacists, stuff like that, have been utilizing this for their own gains. Like, if you don't know, there's this video of what may be, we don't know what they are, white supremacist Antifa members, just two white kids in a van. They were giving black people bricks. They were handing them out.
God, I hate
and as well, if you don't know, you see all these videos of people finding piles of bricks layered about. And, is it the government or the police? I don't know. I don't think it's the police, because I see people, when I talk to them about this, show this video of police having it there, but I watched the full thing and the police are actually putting them back into their truck, so I don't know. But you see this type of thing. There are sort of higher people trying to instigate violence, trying to do shit like this. If you don't know, in one of these riots, there were two people who were found to have like actual weaponry on them, like real dangerous weapons that could kill people, and the protesters called them out on it, and they were arrested. So that's sort of thing that you see.
I think that these riots are like drawing out a lot of like psychopaths. The kind like that just love causing chaos.
Yeah, I do wonder though how much of it is actually mob mentality. Because I saw this one post it was this one lady with a mask on and holding up a sign saying Black Lives Matter. She's a protester, right? It cuts to a few hours later of her running away from a store she just looted. Part of me is like, oh, maybe she was just like a bad actor. But then part of me said, what if it's mob mentality? There's this like analogy I hear a lot when people say someone knocks on your door wanting you to come out. Like they want to hurt you, so they want you to come out. That's one person. Then the next person bashes the door and nothing happens. Then the next person kicks the door in and then leaves. Then the next person peeks in. Then the next person takes a step in, and then a step in, and then a step in, and then a step in. And then people who normally would have been innocent people have just barged you out of your home and are ransacking it. So it's how much of it is mob mentality, people seeing other people looting and rioting and thinking, oh, is this what we're doing? And then doing it. I mean, I don't think that's a lot of people. I think that's probably a small margin of people doing that. But I think that question should be made of how much of it is mob mentality.
Well, if that is true, then human beings are like more sheeple than I thought.
Yeah, no, because you do have that. In a riot a few years ago, you had these people who were going on a set route, and you had a news reporter who was taking pictures, then recording them. So then he goes on his phone and turns left at a point because he was trying to get away from them, and all the protesters turn left. They were supposed to go right. They turned left to follow the news reporter. Like, it's mob mentality. They follow, like, a leader. They follow someone in the front. And you see these organizers for this protest are literally trying to shout them, trying to go the other way, but it's like they were just following the news reporter. and it was crazy stuff, man. You know?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Kind of retarded.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but that's where the question should be made. How much of this is actual bad actors or bad people, which is probably a lot, but how much of it is just people who are like, oh, is this what we're doing? But yeah, so I feel people need their voices heard. People need to speak up against these things. It's just a question of how do we do that, you know? So, I mean, I think we should like deliberate. You know, we should deliberate and try and find a good middle ground. I personally believe that we should hold every single person accountable for their actions here. I think the protesters are good people. The protesters are really good people, and you can discern them from the rioters most of the time when you see people, you know, they called the cops on these two rioters that had weapons, and they have been reporting on these piles of bricks everywhere. And one of the protesters in that place where the two white guys were giving out bricks literally banged on their window and said, "What are you doing? They're going to get in big trouble." So I think we should be on their side, and we should allow them, but we should not be for the riots. We should not be. You could say, "Oh, it's their voice trying to be heard. It's them trying to, you know, be heard. It's the voice of the oppressed," or something like that. But you have just too many bad apples or too many bad actors who are either using this for personal gain or to fulfill an overarching agenda. You know? Can we all agree on that type of idea?
Yes.
Yeah. But before we go deeper. The reason why I said originally I conservatives and liberals because like a lot of them just been saying the stupidest shit about this issue. I'm just like, yo,
Well,
shut the fuck
that
up.
goes back to what I said. In the beginning of this, we all were unified. Everybody was unified. Conservatives, liberals, we were all unified because we all wanted justice for George Floyd. The only people who were saying anything besides that were the absolute radical people on both sides, were the absolute white supremacists and people like that. Everyone else, every rational, sane person didn't matter their political alignment, actually wanted justice for George Floyd. But as these protests and riots occurred and stuff, and the main thing that tipped it off was David Dorn's death, people started to get back falling into their political ideologies. It started becoming another issue of right versus left, Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative, because you have one side saying, "Oh, you say Black Lives Matter, but what about David Dorn? Does his life not matter? Oh, Black Lives Matter unless it's a cop, or unless some stupid shit." And then you have people on the other side saying it. It's fallen into, in my opinion, tribalistic stuff.
Yes, and it's like it's a lot of them being insensitive and ignorant. With Caitlyn Bennett, like gun girls,
Yeah.
like complaining about like how George Floyd got a funeral, but
Yeah.
she's complaining about that shit. I'm like, hey, shut the fuck up. And then there's a lot of conservatives complaining about not being able to go to church. And then
Yeah. Hey, did you hear the Did you hear the story? Did you hear the funny story? A group of Hasidic Jewish kids held a carnival, and the police were tried to go and shut it down. And then they claimed it was a carnival for justice for George Floyd, and the police immediately backed down.
Wow.
And then someone said, "Huh, I can't wait to see how justice for George Floyd Shabbat services are gonna look like." So. But that was funny.
Then,
But
I'm trying to cut you off real quick, Matthew. But Donald Trump bringing up George Floyd, that's like, I know George Floyd will be very happy looking down on how the economy's doing. It's just like,
well, no, playing devil's advocate, he did not say that. He was talking about racial equality. That was what he was talking about. I watched the original thing before. But still, yeah, it was a bad thing to say. Yeah, He's not said any. He says so much bad shit. Like, my God.
Wait, who
Donald
says
Trump.
that stuff?
Karan, you remember the interview when like Donald Trump was bringing up George Floyd's death? Like, I know George Floyd be very happy to see what we're doing down here. Like, yo, shut up.
Yeah. But it's fallen to tribalism. But again, you have like, a lot of like bad apples on all this who are just kind of making it worse, making the division worse. Like the nurse. Okay, I don't hate the nurses, but the nurses who wrote that letter. If you read what they said in the letter, it was literally basically saying, "Oh, these protests are okay, but if you're protesting the stay-at-home orders, that's not okay." It and like
Oh,
that obviously that logically piss off a lot of people who are like, what the fuck, it
Yeah, but I don't understand it is like because it's dangerous to protest either way. So if you're really gonna go the route of well, you can't protest the stay at home order, then
yeah.
like what? Yeah, like then no protest is okay.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They've been playing to both sides and stuff. And you see a lot of people
oh
trying
yeah.
to just further the division by trying to play politics, play tribalism and stuff. You know, Chris Cuomo on CNN, he is trying to claim that all the protests are peaceful. They're mostly peaceful. And then the very day he actually went on site and showed video, you were seeing what could only be described as pure chaos going on. Fires everywhere, police sirens blaring, people running amok. It was craziness, and then he never went to the floor again. It's a lot of people trying to sort of pepper the fire, trying to fan the flames. It's going to get worse. So I think what people need to start doing is hearing each other, and we have to start understanding. Not all these people are doing it for George Floyd. In fact, let me get this up right here. Let me find it. A looter. This was about 6 days ago. A looter was caught by police, and then he explained his motive as being money. He said he said point blank he was, quote, out to get some money. When asked if his actions were related to protests and events that took place in Minnesota, he said it had a little to do with it, but it was mostly for, quote, the dough. So you have a lot of people. My God, you have a lot of people who are using this as an opportunistic like thing, trying to just get money for it, trying to just get money or steal or stuff like that. And I think we have to condemn those
I
people.
agree.
You know?
Matthew, can I say something real quick about like the protest,
Yeah.
stay-at-home protest, real quick?
Hey,
So
you
what I
guys.
really wait, hold up. What up, Karan?
Oh no! You know what? Finish what you're saying, but let me know when you're done so I can, because I really want to say.
Because what I don't like about the protests against, like staying home, not only are they really hypocritical because they're like, oh, come on, everybody, let's go back inside. It's like, what? Weren't people literally protesting against staying in home weeks ago? Now it's people like, oh, it's not too dangerous to
Yeah.
like protest. And a lot of these people who were protesting staying home were carrying rifles, were yelling, and like were making scenes, like rioting, basically.
Yeah.
And
Well,
and
again,
a
playing
lot
devil's
of
advocate,
it
they
were
didn't they
very
didn't actually like hurt anyone. They didn't like burn anything down. They did get violent in the Capitol building. When they were barging in. But besides that, they didn't do anything. They didn't loot or anything like that, like these. So yeah.
Oh, you guys done?
If you want to speak,
yeah,
Karan, yeah, speak.
yeah. Say what you have to say.
Um. Let's see. Uh. I broke something, and my mom's probably gonna whoop my ass, but.
I pray for your safety, my man.
Yeah, bro. It could be. It could
God,
be
let
TikTok,
Karan live
but
to see another day.
yo, facts, my dude, facts. I'll take it. I'll take it, man. Um, I think you know what the really sad thing. There are like injustices happening that no one talks about. No one even looks at them as injustices. Like I talk about healthcare and whatnot, and how a lot of people die because they can't afford. Like you have to pay to live. I
Yeah.
talk about I talk about how a lot of people they can't buy food, they can't buy all this stuff. And you know what the worst part is? I feel like stuff like this, like mass revolt, like it only happens when it's plastered across our TV or phone screen. Like no one's willing to do the research and say, hey, there's something like really wrong with our society. They literally have to watch a video of a man slowly dying, and they have to they have to watch a video of a man's life slowly ebbing away from his body to get, maybe there's a problem here. And even that, even what are they doing with it? What are they using it for? They're using it as an excuse to riot, and a lot of people are trying to steal. And then even then, with the people who are actually trying to protest, there are police officers uh tear gassing.
Yeah,
There are police officers that are disguising themselves as
as
protesters
protesters
and
and
rioting.
destroying their own vehicle.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Like, and it's like, really, this is all we can do. This is all we can do. And
I totally agree with you.
I read an article real quick. Let me pull it up. Uh, and it talked about Dave Chappelle. He was talking to this woman, this white woman, and he was talking about how a lot of these how a lot of these events with the police, and how a lot of them, he talked about a bunch of stuff like police brutality and how it affects African Americans. And this woman, she was like really dismissive, and like, if I'm being honest, a bitch about it, because she was, oh well, life is hard, boo. Sorry about that. Like, she was like really dismissive.
Oh, she's a bitch. Yeah, tell
Yeah,
that
yeah,
to the person whose daughter, young daughter, got her brain fucking thrown out because the police officer said, she's subhuman. I can just kill black children, black parents, because I feel like it. I had a
yeah.
rough
You
day
know
at
what?
home.
Dave Chappelle was actually pretty nice, because she was dismissive, but he was like, you're being ignorant right now, but I'll educate you. And he was like actually very nice about it. He didn't even say it like that, the way I just said it, like passive aggressive. He just said he just said, well, let me tell you why you're. And then he explained it to her, and like she was actually okay with it. Like I mean, like he was actually okay with it. Like it was embarrassing for her and her friend, but Dave Chappelle was like a real. And he went on to talk about how it's sad that for everyone to care, we need to like videotape. Like
Exactly.
there has to be actual footage. And I think that's the sad part. Like
Yeah, I
unless
think
they take. Well, go ahead.
I think that a lot of what we're seeing is sort of like many people finally realizing it, but then like they don't know how to react because like think you have a lot of people saying now abolish the police or stuff like that. It's like I don't agree with it, but you have to think where they're coming from. It's like when you see all of this injustice and you see it taking place and you have no real idea of what you can do to fix it, then what are you gonna do? You can't. Then what's the solution there? And many people just kind of feel helpless and stuff. Feel like, it's like, oh my god, there's so much police brutality and nothing's happening of it. And again, going back to a legislative complacency, a lot of people I'm gonna say this right now. By the way, this is gonna kill Second Amendment debates. People are now gonna be in support of the Second Amendment. Black Lives Matter leader even said he wanted black communities to arm themselves so this doesn't happen. But the problem here is you have a lot of people who feel like they have that safety. They feel like, everything's fine, everything's good, the police are fine, all that type of crap. They just are negligent to the truth, and then when they find out the truth, it just kind of hits them so hard. They're like, "What do we do? What do we do?" So yeah, you can go. You can continue. Edgar and Ethan are low key just on Roblox right now.
What? Why are we talking about Roblox?
I just said that Edgar and Ethan are low key just playing Roblox right now.
Oh, yeah, yeah, probably low key. Yeah, that's probably what they're doing. And actually, once I'm done with this, I'm probably gonna play Skyrim or DC Universe Online. You know,
I'm gonna
while I'm doing
train. I'm gonna train in some league. I'm gonna play some league.
League of Legends.
Yeah,
Uh,
but
I wish I had a PC.
yeah,
Lamau, PC Master Race.
Actually,
yeah, PC's great.
actually, real quick, Matthew, before we get back on the top,
I'll be right
I wanted
back.
to ask you guys if you could help, because I wanna get a PC, but I heard that you guys can actually build one.
yeah, you can.
Oh yeah, you have to buy the individual parts.
Yeah,
No.
Man, I don't have money, but I mean, I do have money, like in a bank account, but like my mom told me not to touch it, so it's off limits.
mm.
So the money I do have, I'm not allowed to use. So even then, it's basically her money. All right, I just wanted to talk to you guys about that because I really want to get a PC, but I'm not sure how to go about that because PCs are expensive, and I'm not sure how to get.
yeah,
Hello.
yeah,
All right, let's get back on topic.
yeah. So like I said, it's just a lot of people who, when who think that the world's rainbow and sunshines and it's so perfect, everything's good, and then when the truth hits them, that actually there's about a lot of bad shit. They don't know how to react, and they just kind of go with the most radical idea that being, get rid of the police, get rid of the police, they're so corrupt, get rid of the police. And we'll talk about that solution in the next episode, when we talk about the judicial system and law enforcement, which will be, I mean, after we're done with this, you guys want to take like a 5 minute break and then go to the next episode? Is that right with you, Karam?
Wait, what did you guys say?
I said after we're done with this episode, we come to a deliberation of a good middle ground. Do you guys want to take a 5 minute break and then go into the next episode where we talk about the judicial system and law enforcement? Or do you guys want to do that on another date?
Yeah, I'd like to do it because I think the way we do things is all wrong. Like it's not
Yeah,
just the cop, but
yeah,
I think prison.
yeah. I get that. So let's continue talking about this, and when we come to a good middle ground, we take 5 minutes. So yeah, it's just people. So many people are so complacent, and they think the world's rainbow and sunshines, and when the truth hits them, they don't know how to react. It's like it's hard to think about that type of stuff, like the police being very really corrupt. People might support rioting and burning it all down because they're like, what's the alternative? What's another solution? It just seems like everything's so awful. You know?
Yeah.
No, definitely, Matthew. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Not only that, but I think it's a mixture of complacency, ignorance, insensitivity, and just like idiots. because a lot of people are being really insensitive during times like these.
Yeah.
Like I said, with like Caitlyn Bennett, gun girl, saying, why is this protest going on? And just being really insensitive to like the whole
Yeah.
entire thing.
And going back to the thing I said, egging this on. I can't remember the celebrity's name, but there's this one celebrity. He was talking about he was for the protests and all the rioting and all that stuff, and then they went to his gated community, and they were in front of his door, and he said, go to downtown LA. What are you doing here? Go to downtown LA. It's like these people are egging it on, and then when it comes to them, because they are going into suburbs. Can't exactly confirm this, but I believe that they are going about in Chicago's suburbs, and they also went to a conservative journalist. I believe her name is Cassandra Fairbanks' house and shot into her house, and were basically threatening the lives of her and her 9-year-old kid. So
Why?
because they doxed her address, and a lot of opportunists took the opportunity to, I guess, attack a conservative. So you have a lot of bad apples and opportunists and people who are egging it on, and things are getting bad, just escalating the problem. You got people all over trying to escalate the problem by just making it tribal again, making it tribal. We all agreed we wanted justice for George Floyd, and then it started becoming tribal. Oh, but what about David Dorn? Oh, but what about all these other people who died during these riots and stuff? Oh, what about the 2 cops in the Bay Area that got drive-byed by two rioters? And it just falling to one side saying one thing, the other side saying another thing, and nobody can agree on anything. So that's why I say we have to give credit where credit's due. These protests are good. These protesters are fighting for a good cause. We have a very bad police system. We have very bad people in power, and people who don't care, and we have to fight against it. But we have to call out where people go wrong when they riot, when they do that type of stuff. And they burn things down, especially when they're burning down places in black communities when they don't live there. They found that a lot of people arrested in, I believe, in the Minneapolis riots did not live in Minneapolis. So it was just a bunch of people going in, causing chaos, and leaving. And also the story of the Black Umbrella Man. If you don't know, it was a story, I believe in Minneapolis or Minnesota. This one guy comes into these riots, burns down an AutoZone, and leaves. Literally, no one knows who the hell he is. He just waltzes in, burns down an AutoZone, and leaves like nothing happened. And no one sees him again. So you just have these odd things, and the bricks again, of just people egging it on and just ruining people, communities and stuff. And I think we have to condemn it. We have to condemn it because of that. We have to condemn the riots because we have too many bad apples, too many bad actors, and too many opportunists who are using this as an opportunity to cause chaos and to hurt people. So is that a good middle ground you guys can agree with?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Wait. Repeat your overall point again, just
That
to make sure.
that the protesters are good. They're fighting for a good cause. They are fighting for a good cause, and we should be on their side. But we should also condemn the rioters who are treating this like who are doing very bad things to everybody, who are burning down people's houses and stuff like that, and are using this as an opportunity to fulfill their own ends. I think we should be condemning them. Because they're not fighting for anything. They're not fighting for Black Lives Matter. They're not fighting for George Floyd. They're not fighting for that. They're trying to cause chaos.
Using this as they're opportunists. Yeah. No. I definitely agree with that, and we definitely reached an agreement.
Yeah. So that's
I agree. Totally.
Yeah. So I think that's good. I say we take a 5 minute. We take 5